see how fun and easy it is to draw this cute little snowman in Procreate.
Hi everybody, it's Kris. I have been away for a long time doing YouTube tutorials and I'm really sorry, but you know how life gets. Just a thousand other things get in the way and soon you're like, whoa, I haven't been here for a long time. As you can see, I've actually moved house, so that's changed. And to have a new studio, and hopefully that will mean that I can bring you guys some more free tutorials and just have some fun drawing together. So as always, welcome to this week's tutorial. Let's draw together.
All right, to get started, you're going to need a few supplies, and you can find them all in the description below. There's a link there to all my freebies you can find. And all of these tools are absolutely free, so if you go in there and grab them, you'll be all set up and ready to go. So you're wanting to find the living watercolor canvas. In my new Illustrator starter kit, it's just like a little freebie kit where I've combined all of the individual samples and kind of put them all together to one download, so it's kind of a little bit simpler for you. So find the living watercolor canvas. You're just going to tap on that and open it, and you can see that there is like a texture on it. So this is the canvas. You'll see a number of layers on there, so that's what makes up that canvas texture. I'm just going to swipe to the left and lock it just so I don't accidentally draw on it. And we'll want to start on the layer that says draw here. And that's all you need for the canvas to be ready to go. Then you want to go to your brushes icon and you'll see the free samples. They're all in categories from where these samples were brought from, what course and what pack they're from. So you can see we've got the Pretty Drawing Academy, so those are a few samples from that. Flower Masterclass 2.0, Daily Practice Lessons. So those are where all of those brushes can be found in those original courses. So now that we're all organized and set up, I'm just going to go down to my cute character class. I'm going to go to the sketching pencil hard and tap on that. And then I'm going to go and just grab just black. It's fine. It doesn't really matter what color this time because this is just going to be our first little sketch. So let's start off our snowman by drawing some simple shapes. So I'm going to start just with an oval. I'm just getting my hand warmed up a little bit here. I can hold down and it'll actually make a nice little oval for me. Or you can just do it freehand like I've done too, depending on what program you're using. If you're using Procreate, you'll be able to hold and do that, or you can just do it like this. I feel like that's a little bit too squishy. I want it a little bit more round, so let's just try again. Maybe something more like that. You can always adjust. I mean, this is the, your very rough sketch here, so you feel free to adjust it how you want. If you want it scooping down, it's always easier for me to put my hand this way, right? So making that nice and round there, coming up around there. Okay. Now his little body is going to be a little funny shape, sort of. It is triangular, but it's going to be very rounded. So you can start by drawing a little triangle if we want. Now our proportions are going to be quite dramatic because we're trying to get that very overly cute look. So it's going to be quite a large head into the size of the lower body here. So I'm just doing this rounded triangle. I'm going to kind of make him on an angle a little bit. So I'm going to have this coming out maybe like that. And then this sort of curving this way a little bit more. You can always use your eraser to help shape your shapes. You just want to be really loose at this point, just start to create that. And then this is going to be nice and rounded out here. Again, using the angle of your natural, movement of your hand to help you create the lines and the shapes. Okay, so happy with that. Just wanted to make sure he looks squishy enough. All right, so now we're going to kind of start placing some of the facial features. We're going to have the nose be quite high here, right about there. And that's sort of the base, the roundness of the carrot. The carrot, let's have it extending out this way. So just draw like a little line from the center. And then we can just go from this edge of the circle and connect to there. Like so. Okay, then you can, if you want, because it's a little bit distracting, you can just like erase that there. And there is our cone shape. sticking out to the side there. All right. Again, in order to make it look kind of cute, I'm actually just trying to look. I might actually move this up just a touch, and I'll show you why, because I want these eyes, I'll show you here. I want these eyes to be fairly low, but I want to be able to see it a little bit more than that. So I'm just going to take my selection tool with freehand selected and just draw just around there. And then I can just tap on my arrow tool and use this green toggle just to adjust that. And I can move this shape around a little bit. So that might give me a little bit more space to tuck this eye in over here. Okay, that's good. Wonderful. Now we're gonna have his mouth nice and wide through here. So we can just do a line to indicate that. Okay, so now that we're ready to go, we have a few little shapes on here and a few little guides where our facial features are going to go. I think we're ready to draw in his hat. So I'm going to move, if your sketch has gone up a little bit higher here, I'm just going to move him down just by tapping on my arrow, moving this down just a little bit because his hat's going to be fairly large too. Again, playing with that proportion to make it look really cute. Okay, so let's just do sort of have his hat shape. I want it to be about the same size as his head already, another time over again. That'll be nice and exaggerated. And it looks kind of crazy when you draw it like this. So it's gonna come around here, kind of like that. Okay, and then we're gonna want this to swoop down kind of jauntily over his eye here. So do a swoop like this, a little curve. I don't want it to touch his nose, but just, you know, get close, just like that. So this is coming around, and this is coming around like that. Let's make sure that these lines we can see where they begin and end, so it's a nice clear silhouette. And this is coming around like that, the rest of his head here. Okay, now this part, the top of the brim will connect here, and same with this. Okay, and then we can refine this shape a little bit. Want it to be nice and round. Feel it go a little bit, you know, in there. Have that like so. Okay, so he's looking pretty cute. I might want this a little touch wider. I'm just thinking that I'm going to play with that. So what I'm going to do is go to my magic wand, go to liquefy, be on push. You can, this just changes the size of your brush, so just have it roughly halfway just to see how that goes. I'm just going to move this over again. Instead of redrawing it, I can just manipulate this just a little bit. Again, it's my rough sketch, so it doesn't, you know, it's not going to matter with the quality of the lines or anything because we're going to go and draw over this anyways. I just want this over a little bit more this way. Okay, kind of like that. It's having a little bit more movement, a little bit more curve. All right, and then we're gonna just go and take our brush again and just go along this line. This is gonna be where some of the detail, you know, he's gonna have a little bit over his hat here, so it's gonna stick out a little bit. So fabric detail. And I'm gonna have it so it's sort of not, you know, it's a little bit, have some bagginess in there, sort of some folds. And then we're gonna have a nice, lovely magnolia here. Okay, so this one, we're going to draw a little circle, and then we're going to go just create where the petals are going to be. So just draw these, you know, rounded triangular shapes. One there, one coming out here. I actually want this to go over this part here, so follow me here. So we're just gonna go like that. So it's gonna cover that corner. This one will go out here. Again, covering that a little bit. Have another one out here. And another one over here. And that can overlap maybe there, just a little bit. If you can see now, I'm going to erase these for you so you can see a little bit clearer. Just hold on one sec, we'll get that so you can see the shapes. Okay, that'll help make that a little bit clearer for you. Now there's just a couple more petals just to make this a little bit more interesting. I'm going to have a little shape here. These are sort of inner petals here to make this magnolia a little bit more realistic. They kind of come in there. Okay, so I'm just going to erase that. So these are all overlapping. Okay, a few little details just to make sure that, again, this does look like a magnolia. We're going to have this overlap here. So all I'm doing, you see, is drawing this line here. So I have this shape, and then I'll show you again here. I'm just going to draw a line in here, just a wiggly line. This one, I don't know if I want that overlapping there. So this one is just that it's curving over in this direction. So we can have that. And let's see, maybe a little bit here. Okay, just creates that fold over, and that's all you really need for the magnolia at this time. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and move my guy down. I keep making him taller and taller. All right, now we're gonna have a little sort of the little berries here. So I'm just gonna kind of start with, let's just see. I'll put one here, and then we'll do one behind. It's nice if you don't have them all like 1, 2, 3. I mean, you can, but it's just if you group some of them together, it looks a little bit more natural too. So just kind of put them around, maybe here. We'll put here. It's nice if they overlap the hat as well. Gives it a little bit of something. So I'm just sort of randomly placing a few berries, like so. And then we'll bring in the little stems here, so then we can kind of connect them. Like that. And then maybe we have another little sticky part that kind of goes like this. Just add to that. And you can use your eraser just to clean up some stuff here. Okay. And then we're going to have, you know, some greenery type bits here, and that's going to come around here. So I'm just going to indicate that right now. I'm not going to draw it like that. But when we go over it, this is not something that we need to, just in our sketch, we can just kind of allude to where these are going to go, and then we'll make them look nicer when we do our good copy. Okay. So this part's pretty straightforward, and then of course we're doing a flower that's not just a basic daisy or whatever, so hopefully you were able to follow along. It's just some shapes centered around a circle, and then it hopefully will become a beautiful magnolia. Okay, last few details. He'll have a few little lumps of coal here. So he's not, perfectly straight. He's a little bit to the angle. So I'm gonna have like his center of his body here. The center of his face is about here. So it's kind of like that. So I'm gonna have his little coal here. Again, playing with that proportion. They're a little bit, oversized, which kind of looks cute. And then he's going to have his little twiggy hands. So they'll just be like this, something like that. And then this one is going to come from this side here and out. So you see it shows that one arm's kind of behind, one arm is in front. And again, just a little simple like that. Okay, and then lastly, we're just going to show sort of where our dots are going to go. I'm just going to go do these dots on his mouth, just along the line here that we drew, and finish up here. Okay, I don't know if we need, no, it's probably too far. Maybe this one's a little bit too far. I can just space this one out a little bit better. Okay, lovely. I think we are ready to move on to our good copy and start coloring this in. Okay, so go to your layers, tap on that N, slide the opacity down to about, whatever you're comfortable with. Mine's at about 13%. I'm going to tap on the plus sign to create a new layer above our sketch layer. I'm going to continue on with this sketching pencil. I think that's all we need for right now. I'm going to tap on my colors and just go and grab a very neutral, middle of the road gray. If you're curious, my brush size is around 26, 27, but you use whatever you're comfortable with. You need, get the feeling of what line weight that you would want. There's no right or wrong in here. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and start refining my lines. I'm just doing it a little bit more sketchy, but not as messy as my lines before, just keeping it soft and nice and round. Okay, so this is just for his body. I'll erase that later. I think it's just easier to go through. A nice weighted line on the bottom. And around we go. All right, so that looks good. Still with the gray, we can go and do his eyes. Actually, I'm just gonna move this one over just a hair. I think mine went a little bit wide there. Just kind of little oval circles. And then we'll just color these in too. Okay, and what else? These little coals, so I'm gonna have them like, a little irregular because they are meant to be coal. And there we go. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so still in the same layer, we can do all our line work on our one layer here, that's no problem. Just go and grab an orange. So just drag this color, this little toggle here, all the way to the oranges. And let's find something, I don't know, maybe around here. Just whatever sort of is a darker orange color you can see here. It's gonna be like this. Actually, I want a little bit darker than that, so just bring it down a little bit. That's probably good. Okay, so with our orange, it's not gonna be perfectly straight. As you know, oranges are a little bit oddly shaped, so we're just gonna kind of go, make it rounded like that. Just sometimes with like the pressure of your pen, just kind of move it around and have this, kind of like this. Just little wiggles. Just gives it a little bit more character. And making sure if you're like me and you came in and this is a little bit low, I want this really to round out here. So just check on that. If you need to fix it, you can always erase it and do it again. All right, and then having these little lines come around, so I really want to make sure that this is circular like this, right? We don't want it to be at all feeling like this because that's very odd looking. So I'm going to help do that just with a few little lines. So I'm going to come from the top and just kind of go, and fade off just really with the pressure of your pen. Same with here. Just these little lines. Carrot's going to have that too. So you can just kind of with a few little lines, but just make sure you're really rounding that. Really keeping that spherical look, not spherical, cone, cone shape. It's too early in the morning. Okay, something like that. Maybe even one line that comes all the way around. Just really light. It's probably a little bit too much. Okay, just gonna make sure this again is really round. Okay, lovely, there's the carrot. Wonderful, let's move on. While we're here in the oranges, we can just go and sort of drag this down and get sort of a brown color here. It's a little bit more desaturated from what we're working on here. So a little bit more towards the grays. We can do the outline of his hat and the little twiggies here. Let's start with the twiggies. Okay, so with these, you're gonna go and then maybe put a little knob and a little, don't keep them too straight. Give them a little texture. because they are little twigs and they would not be perfect in any way. Something like that. Gives it a little, just in contrast to the straighter lines that we've drawn for his body. Okay, so I'm just going to go and erase a very small little area here. Just bring your eraser down there just to get rid of that little bit of gray. Come in there, just round that out. Little bits. And lovely. Okay, so there's his little hands, still with the same color. We can actually do a lot of this with just this brown. Okay, so let's bring this around here. Want this still to be on that angle there. That's probably better. We can just have a swoop. Sometimes just letting your arm flow just gets you a nicer line, and then you can come and correct where kind of went wrong at the end here. There we go. All right, and then moving up like that. Then I'm gonna come and just do, actually I'll make that red, I'll leave that there. Okay, so this line here, maybe it dips down like that a little bit and around. All right, we can still use this for the little magnolia here. So you can make this a little bumpy if you want. I'm just gonna put some dots in, just stipple it in. I'll give it a little texture. Okay, great. And then with these, just, keep it a little wiggly. Just have it just so it has more of an organic look compared to the other more structured elements. You can have this like that. And again, we have this little lip that kind of comes over. See how that just makes such a difference? It just adds a little bit more to it. Do the big shape and then come in and just do this rounded line. Big shape and then this little turnover and just make it wiggly like so. Oh, you know what? Happy little mistake here. Why not just like that, and there's a little bit of a lip coming over. Just adds a little something. All right, still while we're with this brown, I'm just gonna go and do the little twiggies here. Make them really angular, like you can be really sharp with them. I think that's kind of looks good when you're doing twigs. That kind of a thing. And that's sort of all we need for that. Okay, let's see, we can move on to red. So let's go and just grab a red. So I'm just gonna drag my color all the way over to the very end, somewhere close to where I am. It's gonna kind of start to, be a nice burgundy color like this. Okay, and then we can just outline our make it a little nicer circle. Outline our berries. Okay, and we can outline our little, I don't even know what the little fabric part of the hat, I don't know, it's probably got a name, but I'm not sure what it is. So let's just do that and have a look. Okay, that's great. Now we'll just go and grab a green. So I'm just gonna slide my color all the way roughly in, obviously in between yellow and blue, which makes green. And I can stay on this, around this area. It's probably going to be dark enough. So what I'm gonna do with these is I'm going to use just this brush just to make these little pines. So I'm just gonna just make irregular lines here that are all, stemming from the center. So just little bits that zigzag across, just like that. That's more than enough that we need for this guy. So I can just zigzag, overlap. We can put some color variation in here too if we wanted. So I can go grab another color and see. So bring this up into, well, just bring it straight up. It's probably enough. We can just add a few highlights like that. Just brings a little bit more dimension to it. Okay, wonderful. I think now we're ready to go and turn off our sketch and see what we've got. Lovely, he's looking very cute. Now we're ready to go and color this in. So select your layer below and just tap on the plus sign to create a new layer so it's below our line layer. Then we can go and color him in. Now, if you'll notice, if I take off the background color, this is very dark, and you'll just see the canvas. So we're gonna go and actually change the background color to a gray so that we can go and color him in white, just so that's filled. Because if you wanted to put it on a different color background, you'll want to have that filled in. So just go to straight white, and we'll go to the oil paint here, still within the cute character class section. And my brush is at around 6. I'm just gonna color him in here. Trying to stay within the lines. You can pick this brush up, it's going to be fine. It's gonna, layer. It's kind of what I want. It's not a perfect fill, but if you can kind of have it so it's a little bit sketchy. You're not gonna see when we turn our white background on, but at least we'll know it's filled. So that if you want to put a background color or a background at all to it, then he'll be white. We can just color all the way over his nose here, that's fine. All right, great. I made a little mistake over here, so I'm gonna just erase that, no problem. Okay, I'm going to create layers for my colors just so that if I wanted to change them at all, I can really do that really easily. So I'm just going to create a new layer on top, and I can go back to my oranges here and then just go up and select a lighter color. So my outlines are darker. I'm just going to move my brush down to about 4. I can just color this in. I think I'm going to need it even smaller, and I will do that. Whatever fits, you keep always adjusting your brushes. It's not a magical number that you arrive at. You just, are constantly changing it to suit whatever you're doing at the moment. Okay, create a new layer. Let's do his hat here. So I can go back to my browns and I can go and just create or find, actually I kind of want something a little bit, let's see. That's probably maybe a little bit warmer than that. So I'm just gonna go up in this corner here. Yeah, I think that's probably nice. Move your brush size a little bit bigger. Just get this here. You can color over your magnolia, that's totally fine. Don't worry, because we'll go over it. And this bit here. All right, create a new layer on top. I'm I'm going to just, while we're still in this brown section, I'm just going to go up to the very top, but not all the way white, just a little bit back from it. And you can see here, you can move it here as well. So we have more of a cream color. That's kind of nice for the magnolia. So we can color that in and see if that's enough contrast. I know we could always drop the color in, but I actually like coloring. It's kind of why I'm an artist, right? So it's fun to actually do the coloring in sometimes. Okay, that looks nice. Now for our reds, I'm actually going to go below the magnolia. So tap on the layer below, create a new layer, and then we can do the red. So we can go back to that red that we originally did, bring up this. I'm going to have it more at a pink, I guess. I mean, it's still red, but it's just a lighter color. And if these are coming through, you can kind of see that red bleeding through because this is not a completely opaque brush. I'll show you how to fix that in just a minute. I kind of still want it a little bit scratchy, but I can fix that in just a minute. Just make sure your brush is small enough in order to do these berries. Okay. And I see one last thing. I guess, yeah, we'll create a new layer for this. Just have a brown, so I'm just going to go back to sort of where the oranges are. I want it darker than this. Just have a really small brush. I might need to go and do this with the sketching pencil. I'll just color this in here, little twigs. Okay, and I'll go just to my magnolia layer and just fill that in a little bit as well. Okay, now I was saying about this bleeding here. So if you want, if it's not thick enough, you can just go ahead and swipe to the left and say duplicate. So now you have it twice as thick, and then you can just merge those together, and then that will clear that up. And I can just go and clean up any edges and things that I may have missed if I haven't been quite as careful as I should be. Okay, maybe right here too. Okay, so he's colored in except for these, so let's just create, I'm gonna go to his body, create a new layer here, just get a lighter gray, and then back to the oil paint. And grab that there. Okay, wonderful. Now I can change this back to white if we wish. Depends on how you want to work. I can have it a little bit darker. It's like that. I don't know why I like a light canvas. All right, let's add a few details to this. All right, so first I'm going to go and add a little shading to his body, just a touch. So on the body layer here, I'm just going to create a new layer, tap on that clipping mask. That way, everything that we draw in this layer here will only attach to the body. It won't color anywhere else. So I'm just going to go and then just slide into the blue areas and just bring that up into this corner here, just so I have a really light blue. Then I'm going to go and find the Paint Drop Bloom that's from the daily practice lessons. I'm just going to grab that and just lightly dust the edges. I'm not sure the camera will pick this up as much, but it's just giving it a little bit of a blue and give him a little bit of shadow here. It's a little bit heavy under there. It just gives it a little bit something. Maybe a little under the nose where that would be casting a shadow. And there we go. Next, I'm going to go grab a pink, so all the way to the right in our reds, and we're just going to grab a nice little pink here. Then I'm going to go to, let's see, what would be nice for this? The variegated edge from the Flower Masterclass. I'm just going to draw some little circles here. It's on my brush, maybe more like 14. On the last little circle here, draw a nice little circle for a rosy cheek, about that big. And same on this side. And there we go. How cute is that? All right. Oh, we never filled in our little twigs here. I keep forgetting about them. Okay, I'm just gonna go to the twig layer that I colored in here. Just go and grab a brown, back to the sketching pencil, and just fill this in. Oops. Okay, so let's do some shadows on his hat. So find your hat layer here, tap on that, create a new layer on top of it, tap on it, say clipping mask. All right, and then what I'm gonna do is actually hold down my finger and select that color. So depending on what program you're using, just go and select that original color. That'll bring us back to here. And then what I'm gonna do is drag down and to the right. That will give me a nice shadow color if you just do a little L shape. And then I'm going to go back to the daily practice lessons and grab this soft charcoal shader. Just gonna do a nice little shadow in here. So I don't know, my brush needs to be about size 6 maybe. I'm just gonna shade this here and just like light pressure. So darker at the top, a lighter pressure to fade that out. So more pressure and then lighter pressure to fade that out. So darker towards the front and just really soft. All right, same here, soft, soft, soft. A little soft on the side, maybe a bigger brush for this, bring up to 25. Really soft hand. I'd always go over it, let's just layer. This creates that texture and the shadows, a little bit on the back end there as well. Maybe under here because that flower would be casting a shadow, so just, adjust your size if you need to. And that looks much better. Let's go to his nose. Tap on that, plus sign, create a clipping mask, select the orange, tap on your colors, down and to the right, just like a little L. Still with the same brush here. Let's just do a shadow underneath. Gotta make it irregular because it's, again, giving that texture. And see how much you want that there. You can do the reverse too. So again, you can select that orange, make sure that you get a nice one there. Then you can go up and to the left and create a nice little highlight. Oops, that's not really. Actually, I'm gonna go quite further over there. Just make it a lot lighter. If you want a little highlight. Okay. Now let's go and work on the berries a little bit. So to our red layer here, we're gonna just quickly do this fabric here. So create a new layer, tap on it, create clipping mask, select that red, down to the right, and just bring in a little, start to make these folds sort of look like they're something, sort of shade in the crease here. Giving it a little bit of texture. There we go. All right, so on the berries, I'm going to do all the shading on the same side, so all on the right, just like we've been doing. So just in a circular motion. This one, of course, would be from behind like that. Same with here. Okay, that looks good. And then I'm going to go and grab a light pink, very small brush, little circle, just for this little highlight. Very good. Now with this highlight, I think I would like to use a little bit on this part too. So just sketch in where the dark isn't. Just have a little light there. That makes it look nice. I think that looks good. Okay, so I think we need to work on, well, maybe we'll just do a little detail here on this, on our little charcoal here. So grab your charcoal layer, tap on the plus sign, clipping mask, select the color, just bring it down a little bit darker, and we can just give this a little bit of dark there. That's all it needs, not much. So let's concentrate on our lovely magnolia here. Up to the magnolia layer, select that, if I can select it, create a new layer, tap on that, clipping mask. Okay, I am going to just actually do a few, I'll grab this color here, go to my sketching pencil hard, that's in the cute character class. I'm going to make a few lines, so really light pressure, more pressure. Light pressure at the top, heavier pressure, all in the direction, just a few. It's going to really help just give this some detail and show kind of what the direction of the petals are going, where they're going rather. So just not too many. Just a few to add to it. So it's all going towards the center, like so. Maybe one over here, one or two. Okay, so that just adds a little bit of extra to that. Now let's have a little bit of shadows. Now select this color. I'm going to just bring it, I still want it fairly light, so just a little L there, just a little bit down and to the right. I'd like a really soft brush here, maybe the Fluffy Sketcher from Pretty Drawing Academy. Let's just see if that's gonna be, yeah, I think this might be a little bit more controlled, so I'm around 34. We just want a little bit of a shadow in here, and mind your lines that you've done, you can kind of blend them a little bit out too while you're doing this. Just kind of bringing in a little shadow down the bottom, all the way around, all concentrating towards the center, lighter as you go out. This might be more shadow behind, and kind of create a little bit more like this. I'm using a very gentle, I'm not pushing very much, just very gentle. Just creating these layers, getting some paint on it. Okay, and then under here, because it's flipped over, you can kind of give a little bit of shadow here. Come in with the side of your brush even. You can kind of, actually just, the side of your brush will be even lighter, kind of just like you would with a real pencil. That might really help, just get in there a little bit. And then on the other side, like this side here, it might have a little bit of a shadow too as it curves over. So again, in here, I'm using the side of my pen. It's very light. It's a little bit trickier to get the hang of it sometimes with this side, just how much of the side you need it to be on. But just practice, you'll get the hang of it, that feeling. Okay, so that's probably good for that part. Now what I want to do is just I'm going to get pure white, and let's see, maybe the variegated edge. It's a little bit more of a softer one, and this is going to be pretty subtle. I'm not even sure if it'll show up on the camera here, but it's just a few highlights. Just, I'm coming from the top, basically doing the reverse of what I was doing at the bottom. Just a little bit, just here and there. just to keep this still light enough. I don't want it too dark, and I want it to pop a little bit. Just a few bits and pieces there. And that kind of makes it. And then let's see if I can't just kind of get, maybe, you know what, back to sketching pencil hard, and just throw in a few little dots here just to make that pop a little bit. That'll really help. Now, what are some last little bits? I'm going to create a new layer on the very, very top. I'm going to stick with the white, and just sometimes, you know, maybe a little, just teeny little dot here. Just a little sparkle, you know, just these little bits where the light really hits there. I think I like that. Maybe we'll get a smaller brush, maybe around 12 or 13. Maybe I'll just like a few little white lines in here. Just gonna make that stick out a little bit. Maybe a little bit here. A few little white lines here, again going around. Just these teeny little extra touches sometimes make a little difference. Maybe some a little bit here, like a little bit of wiggly lines, just to, again, making that weird cold texture. It's just that it's a textured bit. Maybe we could have a little bit, a few lines here on our twigs. I don't know if this will work, but yeah, I don't like that. Okay. All right, let's have a look. I think that's good. I'm really happy with how he turned out. He's such a cute little snowman. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell icon as well so you can be notified of new tutorials just like this one in the future. So happy to be back here doing some more tutorials. So thank you so much for watching. I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.